Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to A Sports Show. We are back for yet another year here at UATV. I'm your host, Sammy Cibulka, and tonight I am joined by some very familiar faces. Devin Homer on my right, and JP Dahdah with an upgrade with the iPad on my left.
Yes.
And we're going to start the show like we always do. If you are new to it, we always start it with a little segment. If you haven't seen it, here it is. Devin, what did we miss in the world of sports this weekend?
Yeah, the Green Bay Packers felt the loss of Davante Adams this week. The Packers' total wide receiver room only racked up 120 yards, and Davante Adams put up 141. So, but that could have been changed if the Green Bay Packers connected on the very first play of the game. They had a 75-yard pass to one of their rookie receivers, which was dropped. So we'll just hope next week it gets better for them.
Does Aaron Rodgers lose trust for that rookie receiver?
Yes. As we all know, Rodgers doesn't trust rookie receivers. He dropped the very first play of the season.
Would have been a touchdown.
It would have been a touchdown. Would have set the tone for the game. And
complete game changer right there, first play of the game. But speaking of game changers, Champions League is back with quite a few of them.
Oh,
JP,
yes.
What did we miss today?
So if you haven't seen it, the Champions League is back. We had some incredible games last week, more incredible games this week, and even better games coming next week. It's looking to turn out like a really fun year. Here's the thing. There's 5 contenders. It's simple. The 5 biggest clubs in the world. Bayern, Real Madrid,
Man City.
PSG, Man City, and, of course, a little bias here, Barcelona. Of course, we have a whole new team. Xavi's back in. We lost to Bayern yesterday morning, but we can get past that. Champions League is back, baby.
An interesting rematch yesterday, or homecoming per se, with Robert Lewandowski going back to his prior team where he was one of the greatest strikers in the world. Can he find that form again?
It was very tough to see yesterday because he was not able to find the form. I would say 2 or 3 times he missed completely. But he's going to find the form. He's a world-class player. He'll score some more. Barca will be back full force next week.
Interesting there, as they will have Bayern next week again, so something to watch there. If you haven't seen it, I love free football. The NFL not only had 1, but 2 overtime games this weekend, one ending in a tie in Indianapolis, and the Houston Texans, honestly, quite a shocker to most. And the other, honestly, the Cincinnati Bengals should have won in regulation, missing their long snapper. Not many people would have thought to be that big of a difference, but a blocked extra point with 2 seconds left, and all of a sudden they find themselves in overtime, and the Pittsburgh Steelers sneak away with that. But 3 other things that you may have missed this weekend. Number 1, Jameis Winston this weekend, in a lot of pain. If you haven't seen the video, it's quite hilarious. But we all know Jameis. We love Jameis. He kept plugging. He kept going through. Number 2, maybe my favorite one, the Cowboys are laughable. Dak Prescott exiting the game early with a hand injury and honestly getting demolished in every aspect of the game to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I am no Dallas Cowboy fan, so therefore I can laugh and can find it funny. Now, third and lastly, this is where the train will stop today. Our lovely Dylan Grouse's team, the 49ers, got a little growing up to do. Trey Lance, some learning curves, lost in Soldier Field in what can be claimed as a monsoon-type game, but Justin Fields and the Bears winning week 1, and I think the coolest moment of the week, if you guys saw it, was as soon as the game ended, the Bears offense slip and slide into the end zone in front of their home crowd was, I think, one of the coolest things we might see all year in football. So
Definitely.
Congrats to Justin Fields and the Bears. I know Jack John Singer and Dylan were going at it this week. Devin, anything to add?
That's like one of the only wins we're going to see the Bears have. And we're just going to keep racking up the Niners losses. So,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good year.
I agree. Speaking of good years, I think we are primed for some way too early takes that will hit.
Yes.
And Devin, I see that you have a Super Bowl team that you would like to go out and on record saying right now. Go ahead.
do. All right. I have two way too early takes. One, it's a very stretch in my book, and then I have a more conservative one. My first one, if Arizona wins Saturday, we're going to a bowl game.
Wow.
All right, that's the stretched one. That's like a student hoping. And then my conservative one is the Super Bowl champions will be the Buffalo Bills.
Wow, I don't know if I'd call that very conservative. It's week 1, NFL season. What if Josh Allen puts his shoulder down trying to get into the end zone and boom, broken collarbone?
All right, if he's healthy.
Okay, there we go.
If Josh Allen is healthy, they're winning the Super Bowl.
All right, there's a contingency plan and all that.
There you go.
JP, I read yours earlier. I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
What is it?
This is way, way, way too early because it's not this Ballon d'Oro. It's next year's Ballon d'Oro, the season that just begun. Erling Haaland's going to win Ballon d'Oro. It's going to happen. The kid has 10 goals in 7 games in the Premier League, arguably the best league in the world, and just scored a game winner against his former club, Borussia Dortmund, in that, I want to say, 86th minute today.
Yeah.
He's primed for big games. He's a big-time player. He's fast. He's strong. He's now at the biggest stage with the best coach in the world. He's going to win the Ballon d'Oro. It's going to be historic. He's 21 years old. Just write it down. Bet on it if you want to. It's going to happen.
This brings another question for this year's winner.
Yeah.
That has to be Karim Benzema.
It's there's not even a point to
Yeah.
discuss it.
Okay.
It must be Karim Benzema.
I just wanted to make sure because as we're moving closer and closer to the World Cup, I don't know if that is before or after the World Cup, and maybe some things can
I
change.
think the winner will be announced before, but I truly believe the World Cup should kind of have no say.
Okay.
Because the seasons have occurred, the champion occurred, the leagues have occurred, and Karim Benzema was far and wide the best player in the world this year. So he'll win it this year. Erling Haaland next year.
And one last quick thing. Erling Haaland, like you mentioned, game-winning goal against his former team.
Yeah.
As a fellow footballer, how good did that goal feel?
That goal, I am not his height, nor his strength, nor his power, so my leg will never reach that height. But I can assume it probably felt a little Zlatan Eskama type of goal, so it must have felt unbelievable.
Yeah, watching it a second time, it just didn't make much sense to me either. But my way too early take, coming from the Pac-12, and although they did get a 3-slot upgrade in the rankings up to number 7 in the AP poll, I believe that USC will represent the Pac-12 in the college football playoff this year. Lincoln Riley has that team rolling better than Oklahoma ever looked, in my opinion. Quarterback Caleb Williams, in his second year with Riley, is looking like a Heisman candidate, in my opinion. And to be honest, the Pac-12 just isn't as good.
It's not.
If they can get past Utah, who I think is a very, very good football team, they're prime to make it to the college football playoff. And that would be so good for a very, very sluggish Pac-12 conference who, as of late, has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. So I am really hoping USC can make a push to the college football playoff. Do you guys see a route that they can?
Honestly, it's going to be really hard for them with the strength of schedule. I mean, they're going to play us. They're going to go down and play ASU. I mean, Cal. It's just really weak.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a route.
JP?
I would say the media is in support of this new Lincoln Riley move. Superman at quarterback, big-time wide receivers, a relatively good defense. The media wants to see it a lot of the times. When it comes to things like this, the media gets what they want because it's what sells. I think USC can do it. I think they have the team to do it. I think, of course, the road's a little bit easier than some schools, but it's been a while since USC has been this good. And I think we all want to see it, to be quite honest.
They have to come out and blow us out, ASU out,
Utah,
Cal out.
And they probably will.
They probably will.
And if they do, that's the only way that it's open for them.
Utah, again, probably the one circled on their schedule. If they can win that game, remain undefeated, there's really no argument as though they shouldn't be. And speaking of college football, a little foreshadowing for after the break, my favorite segment, Hammer Time, will be back and actually make you guys money this year. All that and more after the break. Welcome back to A Sports Show, and ladies and gentlemen, we are about to enter my favorite part of the show, and one day we'll have an intro or a graphic for it, but for now we still have our hammers, and it is hammer time. Just some free picks, nothing, no big deal, just some maybe educated, uneducated picks. Devin, you start, my man.
All right, let's get the big hammer.
Oh, wow.
All right, so I have a 5-team parlay today, all minus 110. The first game I'm going to give you, the Buccaneers are giving up 2 against the Saints this week. I think that's a lock. And then I got the Ravens giving up 3.5 to the Dolphins. I think that one's also a lock. I got the Colts coming back and being able to show why they're the Colts.
Yep.
And they're giving up 4 to the Jaguars. And then my last team,
Your Bills.
my Bills giving up 10 to the Titans.
Wow.
I can't write. I wrote Bulls. But if you bet $10 on that, you would win $132.83. So easy money.
All right. Hey, if you want to take Devin's word for it, you can. I really like the Colts -4. Jaguars, again, still going through some growing pains. Matt Ryan comes back with a big week, I think. JP, floor is yours, my man.
As you guys know, I'm not a betting man. I put my money elsewhere. So for this week, I don't want to lead you guys the wrong way. I'm going to hand it over to Sammy, who has a lot of good information.
We have a great slate. And just to be clear, to start the year off, I just want to go on record saying that I will be accountable for these picks, my record, as well as I start this journey towards some money-making process. So without further ado, the card. 3 picks NCAA, 3 picks NFL. We start Oklahoma -11 at Nebraska. Nebraska just fired their head coach. They might be a little riled up, but again, Oklahoma goes to Nebraska. Sooners by 1 million. Don't see any problem there. -11, no problem. BYU +3.5 at Oregon, up at the Ducks. I know it's a Pac-12 team, but BYU coming off one of the larger wins they've had in the last couple of years at home against Baylor in double overtime. Buy the 0.5 point if you want. Bring it down to 3. At max, I see it pushing at 3, but BYU are some men, and they're not afraid to go up to Eugene and pound the football until Oregon doesn't want to play anymore. You saw what Georgia was capable of doing to Oregon, and I think BYU can do the same. Now, talks of college football right now. Appalachian State -12. Buy the 0.5 point. It's at 12.5. You need it. Believe me, you're going to want it. At home against Troy, it's college game day. What else do you want if you're an Appalachian State fan? Go to college game day, throw the house on -12. Mountaineers can play anytime, anywhere, against anybody. Mountaineers -12. That's my college slate. Moving on to Sunday, or in this terms, Thursday night. Chiefs -4. You saw what they did to our Cardinals.
Yeah.
It was bad. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and say the Cardinals were the best or most prepared for that football game, but Patrick Mahomes is back. He is undoubtedly the best player in the NFL. Mahomes is just really good. It's as simple as that. Wrote simple as that. Chiefs -4 all day. Rams -10. Again, buy the 0.5 point. You'll thank me later. It's a Sean McVay game. Week 1 didn't look very good for the Rams. They looked out-coached. Matt Stafford didn't look good. The defense was sloppy in all aspects. Rams -10 against the Falcons at home. That's a big thing. They're home. It's going to be SoFi Stadium. It's going to be bumping. The Super Bowl champs get it done by more than 10. And lastly, I think one of my favorite picks, Dan Campbell and the Lions at -2.5. At home against the Washington Commanders.
Oh, gosh.
Again, the Commanders week 1, they got a big win. That's good for Carson Wentz and Ron Rivera up in Washington. But Dan Campbell will have these guys fired up. It is at home, their first home game after the Hard Knocks season. I just got a gut feeling, guys.
Yeah.
I just got a gut feeling.
He's crazy.
I think JP's riding it with me. So that's JP's hammer of the week.
That's mine.
Go ahead. Take the little one. That's JP's hammer and mine as well. Now, measly $5. That's all. If that's all you want to do, sprinkle all 6 of them in a little parlay. 5 for $140. You guys will thank me later. Those are my 6 picks. And next week on the show, we'll have my record, and I'll be accountable for those. So, guys, let's win our viewers some money, JP. I know.
Let's do it.
Let's win.
Lions -2.5.
I'll take that. I'm going to
All
ride
day
with
long.
you all day.
That's hammer time, y'all. Now, we end the show with a message to JP. Who's your message?
My message goes to a lot of us here, my fellow almost teammates, it feels like at times. Cardinals fans. Week 1 was ugly. It was almost expected. Kyler was not hitting. Why? Because Kyler doesn't have his offense yet. Almost all our wide receivers, and by that I mean Rondell and D-Hop, We're not there. We couldn't hit Zach Ertz when we wanted to. It was a bad week offensively, but defensively, we know that was abysmal. That should not happen again. I think Isaiah Simmons will have a little more poise, a little more composure. He's going to call better plays. Have a little bit of patience. And I'll say this. Last year we started 7-0. We were up to 10-2, and we finished the year 11-6. We don't even need to go 7-0 again. I can start 1-1, 1-2, 2-1. Let's take it slow. Let's ride the wave. Let's finish strong at the end of the year. Have patience. Let's keep the energy high. Yeah. Rise up, Red Sea. I think that's what it is.
Let's get to the halfway mark.
Yeah.
D-Hop comes back.
Yeah.
Cliff might have finally figured it out of how to close the season.
I hope so.
And Kyler Murray's not playing Call of Duty, I've heard anymore. So
big contract, big year to prove.
If you're worried about that, K1's going to be locked in all year long, and let's have a flip the script moment. Is what I'd like to say. Yes, Devin.
FaZe K1 is not playing Call of Duty anymore. The guy who went and joined FaZe, a gaming club, is not gaming anymore.
So all I'm hearing is Kyler Murray's winning MVP?
No, I mean
Okay.
Cardinals,
Okay, fair. Wow, Devin, you have a message to Knicks fans?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it, my man.
All right. My message this week goes out to probably the most loyal fans out there, but probably the most heartbreaking fans.
Yeah.
As Donovan Mitchell said today that he thought he was going home, my heart just broke for the Knicks fans again because only the New York Knicks organization could mess up a done deal.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell obviously headed to Cleveland, which we haven't even talked about. NBA seems so far-fetched right now, but in reality, preseason's coming up,
It's
guys.
right there.
It's right there. Again, we don't want to touch on it right now because we'll start talking Suns and Heat and God knows what, and we'll be here for hours. So I'll end it with my message to NFL kickers. It was a roller coaster of a weekend for NFL kickers. Multiple game-winning misses, multiple game-winning makes, and all that I ask as NFL fans of whatever team you root for, just commit to your kicker. Again, Matt Prater was not put in a position to win or lose a football game this week. But I know at some point in time it will happen. You do whatever you need to do. I personally don't look at the television. I close my eyes and let it happen. But all I ask is that you commit, and whatever happens, happens. Because at the end of the day, it's a football game. People are going to make and miss kicks. There's going to be a lot of variables that go into it. And just like in any other profession, whether you are an actor in movies, bagging groceries, or selling houses, people have off days. So to NFL kickers, enjoy your off day and treat them with some respect because they're people too. But guys, that's all we have for the first A Sports show of the year. And honestly, I'm excited to be back and to see what comes for the rest of the year. But other than that, we'll see you guys next week.